The city never truly sleeps, especially not on warm summer nights when the air feels thick with possibility. That late-night buzz drifted up from the streets far below and seemed to seep right into the walls of the luxurious penthouse, syncing perfectly with the unsteady rhythm pounding inside Laya's chest. She had spent the evening surrounded by friends, bright lights, clinking glasses, and easy laughter, a joyful whirlwind that left her feeling lightheaded, wonderfully alive, and more than a little unsteady on her feet. By the time she reached the front door, her fingers fumbled clumsily with the handle, the cool metal slipping under her touch. She finally pushed it open and stepped inside, immediately greeted by the smooth, chilly marble floor beneath her bare soles, a sharp, refreshing contrast to the lingering heat of the night that still clung to her skin and the lightweight crimson dress she wore. That dress, bold and flowing, had felt empowering under the club lights hours earlier. Now, slightly rumpled from dancing and the humid air, it draped softly against her frame, carrying the faint scent of perfume, city smoke, and celebration. The large clock on the mantel glowed bright red. 2:17 a.m. The number stared at her like a gentle scolding, reminding her how far past bedtime she had stayed. Outside, distant car horns and the low hum of traffic continued their endless nighttime song, completely unbothered by one woman's slightly tipsy arrival. Then, from the shadowed hallway, a familiar figure appeared, Jordan. He moved quietly but purposefully, stepping into the soft glow of the foyer light. His presence was unexpected, yet instantly comforting, like an anchor in the gentle sway of her tipsy world. Before she could even think about attempting the staircase, in her current state, he was beside her, one steady hand at her elbow, the other resting lightly at her back. "Come on," he said softly, voice calm and low. "Let's get you upstairs safely." Laya let out a small, breathy laugh that turned into a sigh of relief. His support felt solid and reassuring. As they moved together toward the hallway, she became vaguely aware of how the soft carpet muffled their steps, how the faint trace of his clean woodsy cologne mixed with the lingering outdoor scents on her clothes. Everything felt a little dreamlike, softened around the edges by fatigue and the remnants of the evening's cocktails. When they reached her bedroom doorway, her legs suddenly felt heavier than ever. She sank down onto the edge of the mattress, with an audible exhale, eyelids drooping. Jordan knelt in front of her without hesitation. With careful, practiced movements, he slipped off one high heel, then the other, setting them neatly aside. His touch on her ankles and calves was gentle, nothing more than helpful, thoughtful care. Yet, in her hazy state, every small contact registered with surprising clarity. The warmth of his palms, the quiet focus in his expression. She watched him through half-closed eyes, a strange mix of gratitude and fuzzy confusion swirling in her mind. He shouldn't have to do this, she thought. Dimly, he's not obligated. And yet here he was, making sure she didn't trip, didn't fall, didn't wake up tomorrow with bruises or regrets beyond a mild headache. As he stood to leave, Laya reached out instinctively, fingers brushing his wrist. "Wait, just a second," she murmured, voice thick with sleep and emotion. "Thank you. Really." Jordan paused, looking down at her. Moonlight spilled across the room through sheer curtains, painting soft silver patterns on the floor and catching in his eyes. For a heartbeat, something unspoken hovered between them. Concern, protectiveness, perhaps a flicker of worry about lines that shouldn't be crossed even in innocent ways. Then he gave a small nod. "Get some rest, Laya. I'll see you in the morning." He slipped out quietly, closing the door with a soft click. She let herself fall back against the cool silk sheets, still fully dressed, the fabric of her gown twisting around her legs. A wave of tiredness crashed over her, carrying faint echoes of laughter from the night, the warmth of friendly hugs, and now this unexpected tenderness from someone she had once viewed strictly as family. As sleep finally claimed her, her last, hazy thought was simple. Things between us are changing. Slowly, quietly, but undeniably. Morning arrived gently, sunlight filtering through the curtains and golden ribbons. Laya woke slowly, body heavy, head pulsing faintly with the aftermath of too many drinks. The sheets felt luxurious against her skin. She had somehow managed to slip out of the dress sometime in the night and crawl under the covers in her soft sleepwear. Memories floated back in fragments. The music, the dancing, Jordan's steady arm guiding her home, his careful hands removing her shoes. A flush of embarrassment warmed her cheeks. She hated feeling out of control, hated that he had seen her like that. Yet beneath the embarrassment lay gratitude, deep, real gratitude. He hadn't judged, he hadn't teased, he had simply helped. She rose, padded barefoot to the ensuite bathroom, and stepped into a long, steaming shower. Hot water poured over her shoulders, easing the lingering ache in her muscles, washing away the last traces of makeup, perfume, and city grit. She stood there a long time, letting the steam fill her lungs, letting her mind clear. When she finally emerged, wrapped in a plush robe, she felt more like herself again, renewed, ready to face whatever awkwardness the morning might bring. Down in the kitchen, she moved through familiar routines like a meditation, grinding coffee, beans, slicing fresh bread, arranging plates with care. The rich aroma of brewing coffee soon filled the space, comforting and grounding. She poached eggs with precision, sliced avocado, scattered cherry tomatoes, small acts of care that steadied her nerves. When Jordan finally appeared, hair slightly messy from sleep, wearing a plain t-shirt and joggers, the atmosphere shifted, subtly. Their eyes met across the island. No words at first, just a quiet acknowledgement that last night had shifted something between them, however small. They sat down to eat. Cutlery clinked softly against plates. For a while, they kept things light, comments about the food, the weather, weekend plans, but the unspoken weight lingered. Eventually, Laya set her fork down. Jordan, about last night. I want to say thank you again. Properly. I wasn't exactly graceful, and you didn't have to step in, but you did. That means a lot. He looked up, expression guarded but kind. You don't need to thank me. I just wanted to make sure you were okay. She nodded slowly. Still, it felt different, having someone look out for me like that. It's been a while. Silence settled again, comfortable yet thoughtful. They finished breakfast without forcing more words. Afterward, Laya cleared the table while Jordan lingered, helping quietly. The simple teamwork felt healing, normal, grounding. Later in the day, as afternoon faded toward evening, Laya found herself in the kitchen again, chopping vegetables for dinner. The rhythmic sound of the knife against the board soothed her racing thoughts. Jordan sat at the island, scrolling on his phone, occasionally glancing up. You've been quiet today, she observed gently, not accusing, just noticing. He set the phone aside. Just thinking, about a lot of things. She paused, knife hovering. Me too. Last night made me realize we're not just roommates sharing space anymore, or just stepmother and stepson trying to keep the peace. There's more trust. Here now, more care, and that changes how we move forward. He met her gaze steadily. Yeah, it does. She reached for a bottle of sparkling water, not gin or anything stronger, just something refreshing, and poured 2 glasses. They sipped in companionable silence for a while, the kitchen warm with the scent of simmering garlic and herbs. We don't have to figure everything out tonight, she said finally. But I think talking openly, checking in with each other, that's important. No pretending things are exactly the same as before. Jordan nodded. Agreed. I want that too. Honesty. No walls. The rest of the evening unfolded gently. They ate dinner together, conversation drifting from light topics to deeper ones. Family memories, future goals, little fears they rarely voiced. Laughter came easier as the hours passed. No grand declarations, No dramatic turning points, just two people slowly learning to navigate a new layer of closeness with respect and care. Later, standing on the balcony watching the city lights sparkle below, Leia felt a quiet certainty settle inside her. This connection, built on support, vulnerability, shared history, and genuine affection, was worth protecting. It wasn't conventional. It required thoughtfulness, boundaries, patience. But it was real. Whatever lay ahead, they would face it, together. Not as characters in some forbidden story, but as family who had chosen to deepen their bond through understanding and kindness. The penthouse, once simply a beautiful place to live, now felt like a true home. A safe space where honesty could grow, where care could be expressed without fear, and where two people could learn, day by day, what it truly means to look out for one another. And as the night deepened and the city hummed on below, Leia smiled, softly to herself. Some changes arrive quietly, wrapped in ordinary moments. And sometimes, those are the ones that matter most.